stays up.
What's up?
So hope the sun stays up.
Oh, I know. I don't think it's going to, but we can hope.
All right, next up, St. Thomas against Davenport. For the referees, we got Jono Cooper as our center referee. Diego Villalobos and Tommy Hendricks are your ARs. Concessions are on the north end. Please help us by picking up your rubbish and throwing it away.
He's right here. He's right here. They come out.
Welcome back, everybody, to the CRAA Championship Weekend. We are past our D1AA Semifinals and into the D1A Challenger Cup. And this is a postseason for some of the teams that have not quite made it to that top 16, but still very strong teams. And here we are with the first match of two semifinals on this Friday. St. Thomas University Bobcats in the blue and red, and the Davenport Panthers in the white. I'm Alex Goff. I'm with Coach Tim Brofman, and we are looking at a matchup that I don't think we've seen. I don't believe these teams have matched up before. St. Thomas, a fairly new program, a couple of years old, have come to these CRAA events and put together some really impressive performances. The first one being against Air Force just a couple of years ago, as the teams both kneel down and sort of bond in the middle of the field, which is terrific to see. And Davenport, longtime team that has battled through. They love to take on challenges. They're in a conference with Lindenwood and Arkansas State and McKendree, and they're coming through with Dominique Bailey, their head coach, working on trying to get a trophy.
Yeah, Alex, and I think this is going to be a really exciting game for the reasons that you said. You know, a lot of credit to what we're doing here with the Challenger Cup. We got two teams that don't normally see each other. We're going to get a great matchup of kind of cross-country here. Really just excited to get them going.
Two different styles we expect. St. Thomas loves to throw it around, loves to take some risks. Although Davenport is known to do that as well, but their bread and butter probably is up front. And as we look for we're just getting ready to kick off here in the our referee in the middle there, John O'Cooper. He is assisted on the sidelines by Tommy Hendricks and Diego Villalobos. David Mullen is our number 4. And getting ready to kick off, in fact, the fly half for Davenport, Joshua Botha from Johannesburg, South Africa. And there will be a couple of South Africans on this team on Davenport. And a little bit more of a Zimbabwean feel for St. Thomas out of Florida. And we are ready, and here we go. A deep kick, nicely snagged by Phillips, and straight up the middle go St. Thomas. Matuba looking to immediately get that ball moving and see how St. Thomas move it quickly through Cherambira, back out to the outside. And 2 or 3 offloads, and suddenly St. Thomas is playing in the Davenport half, and we will see them want to do this as much as possible. Good work from Young. Up very quickly is Davenport. Tuba held it quite nicely. Phillips again going in offside against Davenport, and now we slow it down a little bit and maybe look for some territory. But Cherambira has quite the boot on him, and he is actually pointed to the posts and will attempt a penalty goal just a couple of meters inside the Davenport half.
You know, Alex, I was walking around on the sideline as they were getting ready for this game, and I saw both sides taking some really deep kicks, so I'm not surprised to see him go for this, but I'm really excited to see if he can put this distance with this pressure to start the game here.
Just a very light breeze at Cherambira's back. Welton Cherambira from Harare, Zimbabwe, played for Old Georgians there and was a Zimbabwean age grader, a D1A All-American player last year. And that kick is up, soaring. He's got the length. Does he have the direction? Yes, he does. Straight down the middle. And just like that, St. Thomas with a 3-0 lead.
You said they were going to play fast-paced, Alex.
Yes,
Very quickly down the field, a lot of passing. 2 minutes in, we already got points on the board. Just excellent start there.
You like the idea of going for post rather than going for the try early on?
Well, I will say it's great when you get 3 points and then the other team has to kick the ball back to you, especially with what we just saw. That one a little bit too far going directly into touch, and we're going to see now that St. Thomas can have the scrum back at midfield. Just good result after what I would want. A chance to set up, a chance to set the pace before they get started, do exactly what they just did, just continue that excellent start.
Tanashi Mapani, the fullback, is on the right-hand side along with Noku Makumba. And then 4 backs on the left side for St. Thomas on the open side. Matuba has his options, trying to get it out there to Mapani, and he is hit early. And we're going to go back to a scrum that popped up, and the referee will just reset that scrum.
For everybody wondering out there, just scrum not really allowed to turn on an angle more than 90 degrees. So when it gets to that point where the teams are kind of switching sides, the referee's going to blow that up, have it up again. So another chance here for St. Thomas to get themselves set up midfield.
Lotofilo at the back of that. Is he going to go with an 8-man? Mapani picking that up, but that's going to be a penalty. Boring in, tapped quickly, and Matuba to Mapani, and then back outside to Makumba. Makumba running, cuts back inside, still on his feet, spinning around. Nobody's putting a shoulder to him, just holding on with their hands. And now out from Matuba to Cherambira, getting it to the center. Custodio. And going into contact is Custodio. Loses it forward, and finally a hit coming in from Davenport, but a little bit of arm tackling, I guess, from Davenport.
Honestly, from what I'm seeing, these St. Thomas guys are moving way too fast. The Davenport guys are not getting a chance to get set up. Like, it's just really excellent rugby right now, but let's see what Davenport can get a chance now to get out of their own end.
So we will get a scrum for Davenport, and really the first chance for them to do something with the ball. Get the put in from the scrum half, Dawson Hoving out of Rockford, Michigan. Good Rockford program out there. And you'll see a number of local Michigan players who are with Davenport. That's in Grand Rapids. And there, out the back, flat pass. Good charge there from the Panthers. That's Goethals. And not rolling away against St. Thomas. And this is an opportunity maybe for players to figure out what the referee wants to see in terms of rolling away. How far do you want them to roll away? What kind of release they have, things like that.
Certainly in the beginning of the game that you're trying to get a temperature for the referee, and he's trying to make sure that he controls the game. As we talked about, semifinal, a lot of nerves, want to calm everybody down, get back to playing rugby, stop all the whistles as much as we can.
Good kick. And Jack Snidanko is going to throw it in for Davenport. Got a 5-man line out there, six in there for St. Thomas. Well taken. They're going to set up that maul, but it's sacked quite nicely by Napton. Back out to the fly half. Bota sends in a flat pass. Not much go forward for Davenport. Scrappy stuff in that ruck. Both teams looking to try and clean that up, and it's come onto the St. Thomas side back to Mapani, and Mapani launches a kick right down the field. A little bit of trouble there for Davenport now. What are they going to do with that? And Bota able to put that deep down the sideline, does not find touch. Back comes the Bobcats. Keeping the offload. There's Phillips. Phillips, one more offload. Nicely done. And once again, out to the number 8. Lotofilo. Matuba. He does like to go on his own, doesn't he? They give him an option. He's going to take that. Crawford. And then try to get Custodio down the middle, but a penalty again against St. Thomas at a crucial moment inside the Davenport half.
Really need to clean up those penalties. I do want to point out excellent work by them getting down the field. I think I counted 6 offloads during that possession. As we said, very fast play, just excellent hand skills from those guys.
That kick does not go into touch. Again controlled by St. Thomas. Offload, another offload. And that ball is loose, but it came loose illegally, and Davenport's giving up that penalty. St. Thomas leading 3-0. We're about 8 minutes into this game, and now they just discussed their options. Are they going to go for posts again? Yes, they will. Bit of an angle, but he certainly has the distance and direction from that first kick. So Welton Charambira, full confidence in his kicking abilities here.
Certainly you would hope for your kicker after taking the first long one. That's going to give him a lot of confidence moving forward here in the game.
So we see that wide open play, but also a little bit of conservatism here in that they're going for the post. They're just going to take the points when they're there. Charambira puts it up, and that goes a little bit to the left, so that will be a 22-meter dropout for Davenport. Probably an option for them to launch it down the field, want to play in the opposition end. They could just kick it across the line or do a nice high one to get under, but I have a feeling they're going to go long. And somewhat long, bit of a knuckleball there. Phillips always seems to be the one catching that. Good hit on the tackle. And here comes Matuba. Lotofilo just cut back inside, broke through a tackle, and just like that, has said Lotofilo goes in for the try, and St. Thomas gets the first try of the game and up 8-0.
And another great work again, Alex, as they're getting down there. You can see, if you get a chance to see this again, he makes that offload pass coming from the 9. Most important thing you can teach there, playing behind the defense. Gets a little gap in behind him, just starts making that pass, knowing his teammate will be there, and they're both rewarded with their strong responsibility of being in support. Nice run over the line there for 5.
Well, he's easy to find there with that headgear, bright pink headgear. You're not going to make a mistake. You know that guy's on your team. And he just burst onto that ball. And that will put it at 8-0, Cherambira. Now 1 for 2 today on his kicks. Sets this one up. And over it goes, just curls it in a little bit. That'll make it 10-0. Davenport, once again, really have hardly had the ball, just a couple of possessions. Really haven't had a chance to do anything with it.
Certainly, St. Thomas has kept the pressure on them. As we talked about that pace, they're really putting it on them, getting their opportunities, and so far making good use out of every single one of them with 2 scores so far.
Both are now ready to kick off. Overcooked it earlier, and that one will just drop into the 22. Look at that sidestep, and then another offload, and just a chance there again, maybe to break something free. Mapani there potentially getting that, but that's going to go into touch.
But let's note too, Alex, we are seeing the other side there. We saw a lot of offloads, a lot of fast pace, and it worked very well for them. But there is a risk at the same time. That many passes, that many balls moving around, somebody reaches out, you get a knock on, you get something going into touch, and here's a great opportunity for Davenport to put something on the board.
Lining up with their 6-man lineout, six-man lineout. Couple of options there. They just go to the front, use the 8-man Taele, and straight up. Nice crash and stay on their feet, just driving the legs, able to get another good possession through. Second phase off that line out, but isolated there. The timing was just a little bit off, and a penalty against the Panthers. Bobcats very quick over the ball at that juncture. And I think Davenport would be frustrated with that. That kick gets a lot of distance. Just a line drive kick. And it's interesting when we talk about kicking, you know, you've got to be able to kick different ways. And one of them is just, you know, you're going to put all your power into forward as opposed to up in the air. And Cherambira just pumped that thing, and suddenly we're at the 22.
Certainly a big change in field position. He's doing a lot of good work with them with that foot right now.
Crawford, the Scotsman, goes to the back of the line. It's tapped back. Custodio chips it ahead and kicked back, but still St. Thomas have it. Arteta, local Floridian, excuse me. He was a standout in high school there, and he goes in and tackled but not rolling away, and it'll be a penalty against Davenport. This time they're going to go for the corner.
Big moment for Davenport here, I think, Alex. They've pushed them back a few times here. They've gotten the chance to take the ball away, kind of reset the game. And I think this is a big moment where they really need to establish themselves defensively and prove that even if you come down here, we can and will hold you out.
Crawford again with the throw. Again to the back. And the drive is on. Well, they'll hold off on that drive. Instead, popping off the back is Van Diemen. Slow going, but they take it out with more. Once again, slow ball coming through from this breakdown. Another pick and go straight through. And that defense right around the edge of the ruck, perhaps found wanting by Davenport, and St. Thomas goes in for their second try.
Just a blistering pace here right now, Alex. An absolute barrage of pressure coming from St. Thomas. And Davenport, once again, I think they're going to get a chance to flip the field here, see if they can get something going back in their momentum. But they need to get the ball in their hands and to keep it that way for at least a few consecutive minutes just to get some rhythm for themselves going. Haven't had a chance to touch it, haven't had a chance to do much except try to make tackles.
Just very direct this time. After trying some things out wide, they just said, you know what, let's just run that. And really, that faked that maul almost. They set it up and then just popped off the back from it. They didn't really attempt to drive it much at all.
I wasn't sure. I think they might have had a little bit of an issue with the communication and passing the ball back, and that's why they decided to just run out and get pressure. And quite frankly, it worked for them. Always a little bit of go forward.
The kick just curls around to the left, so it's 15-0. St. Thomas leads after 15 minutes. We're at a point a minute here. Davenport certainly capable of getting tries and stopping tries, but right now they just want that ball. A collision up in the air. That's going to be a penalty against Davenport, hitting the player in the air. Completely avoidable penalty, really.
That's certainly the thing I think Davenport wants to avoid here, Alex, is let's not put ourselves into a worse situation by committing unnecessary penalties.
And once again, Cherambira just got a good boot on him. Doesn't get as much distance as he did before. St. Thomas, though, perfectly happy to take a line out in the middle of the field and run a play off that. They've got, what, 7 players, 8 players out wide to work with. Lodofilo drops it down, lost forward. And that one just a little bit in front of Shapang Matubatuba. He's unable to control it.
And here's a big opportunity for Davenport, Alex. Finally a mistake from St. Thomas. Given them the situation, you get a chance to set the pace now, start the game on your side. Perfect opportunity from a set piece here. What can we do to get inside of that 22?
Setting up that play from the scrum on the left side of the field, 10 meters inside the St. Thomas half. Hoving digs that out, sends that to Botha. Botha has options all over the place. They get that out to Benny. Benny sends it wide to Albrecht. Albrecht, good shifty run. St. Thomas almost over that, but able to clear it out is Davenport. Pushing through is Taele. And come back the other direction again, Freeman. Freeman still going. And did he touch the touchline? No. Stayed in field. Botha running around, ends up running into the referee. The referee has got some good power to him. He wasn't really knocked back at all, and we will go back, have a little chat first of all with the AR to see what's going on.
I think we're checking to see, just making sure there were some extracurriculars going on there at the breakup, and I know we had trying to make sure that we weren't touching the touchline there as we were kind of getting pushed out. So I think he just wants to make sure they have the call correct and that we're addressing the situation, so we're not going to have any more extracurriculars.
At the same time, a little moment of indecision there from Davenport. They had everything going their way and just perhaps a little bit flat, dancing around, both trying to make a decision as to what to do, and went back and forth. That's what we called back. And now just a little chat. And the body language there, to me, is, hey, everybody, let's just calm down. Relax, stop it, calm down.
We talked about it before. Nerves are high, semifinal game, everybody's amped up, adrenaline is running high, referees just want to calm it down so we can just get back to playing rugby.
So we will go back to a scrum for Davenport, given to them because they ran into the referee. Dawson Hoving, finance major from Rockford, putting it in for the Panthers. There is a little bit of a weak side there. I don't know if they like that 8-man pick. He said Hoving sends it to Botha. Botha with Goethals and Benny in the middle there, trying to crash it through, and they just lose that ball in contact. Good defense.
I'll be honest with you there, Alex. I think that was a poor choice by them. Last time they had gone out the back on that, pulled it out and pushed wide. They'd had a lot of success with it. I think maybe they thought they were going to get St. Thomas moving away, but unfortunately the pass out the back was there again. I think they should continue to move this ball wide. There's a lot of opportunities. St. Thomas just daring them to do it.
Mattia Pelva with the tackle, causing that knock on. Many options here for St. Thomas. Yes, they're backed up to their 22, but they have their backs evenly spaced behind that scrum. Charambira and Mapani. They could go left, they could go right. Matuba picks it up, but that is a penalty against St. Thomas's scrum.
Looks like he's calling the tight head there for just backing out of it. Looks like as the whole thing, as everybody saw, kind of rolled to the left there. Looked like the loose head there for St. Thomas was winning. More so it was the tight head there was kind of backing away, causing the whole thing to roll. Referee's not happy with that. He wants everybody pushing forward, pushing straight through the middle.
And Botha will point to the post, and he will take his option there. And I think when you're down 15-0, you're halfway through the first half, let's get some points. Joshua Botha with the kick, it's up. And it is straight through. That makes it 15-3, but first points on the board for Davenport. I think they'll be happy with that.
Certainly think so. Just a chance, like we've talked about, they shifted the momentum. Now it's back in their side. They're going to get the ball back here too. Just a lot of opportunity to build off of that 3.
Now Welton Charambira getting ready to kick that. Chemistry major. Good high kick. Who's going to claim that? Little bit bobble, but it is taken by Freeman. Surging over the ball of St. Thomas. They're looking to get that turnover. They don't quite get it. Davenport now a little bit high in the tackle. They do enough to clear out. And that kick, was St. Thomas offside? It seemed like they jumped the gun just a little bit. But the clearance kick is made. St. Thomas will take that. Attacking line out now on the 22.
Certainly think Davenport would have liked a little bit more distance on that one, but certainly a lot of pressure. You said there may be a guy a foot or two offsides, but the call is the call and the game goes on.
Daniel Crawford from Stirling County in Scotland to throw this in.
I think we're going to have a conversation here about this. Too many guys standing in the receiver position here for St. Thomas lineout. You either got to be in or you got to be out. One of these guys needs to be in the line. There we go.
And then they joined.
You can't both come in. For the folks at home, one person can be in, one person can be standing about 2 yards back. You can switch places, but you can't have 2 in both. You can't have 2 inside.
So that's a free kick, which is not the same as a penalty. If they kick to touch, that will be a line out to the opposing team. So what you try to do is put up a contestable kick usually, but that one will go into touch. There, it is from the 22, so it'll be a penalty. A line out for St. Thomas now, right around midfield. Well, if they keep making mistakes on the line out, I think Davenport would be quite happy to have them have line outs. To the back, cleanly won by Phillips. Charambira sends that wide. Crashed up the middle by the lock forward, Van Diemen. Now to the edge. Davenport defense is there, and there's a double tackle just driving them back. Trying to rip that ball free. Matuba goes himself. Charambira comes in at half back. And that ball is loose. Taken by Davenport. Now the Panthers have it. And just chip it ahead. Put St. Thomas under pressure. I don't know if they feel that pressure though. And a huge kick downfield. And that was Charambira just smoothly snapping it down about, 45 meters, and it rolls into touch.
Do not think he was feeling the pressure on that one so much. He is certainly, we should be giving a lot of credit to him, maintaining a very cool head as he's maintained his composure and made some excellent plays here in the first half.
When you're that shifty, you're not worried about being trapped.
Especially when you can kick the ball almost 60 yards.
Jackson Adanko with the throw. The drive from Davenport. They've lost that ball. St. Thomas now with it. Inside ball. Another offload. Just keeping that ball alive. Slowing it down just a little bit. Phillips, always active. Not a lot of players over that ruck. Davenport able to slow that down just a little bit. And Matuba sends it through. That's Napton. Charambira, nobody to pass to. Mapani, sidestep from the fullback. He's taken down quite nicely by Umgidlana. Number 8, Lotofilo, scored a try already today. But it's static stuff from St. Thomas. Now they go wide, looking to use Custodio. Custodio going down the outside. One more offload. Can they get over the line? But no. Davenport gets players there and just drives everybody into touch. But you saw that acceleration from Diogo Custodio right around the edge, and that was pretty dangerous.
Alex, these offloads, St. Thomas is firing on all cylinders right now. I mean, they are, every time they send a pass to someone, it is coming to hand there. 50-50 ball there. Unfortunate, they get a little bit tied up. It has to go into touch, but as you said, right there on the line, another opportunity.
Well, they're making ground.
Certainly making a lot of ground, and quite frankly, so far living on this side of the field.
Davenport needs to win this line out. They do. They set up just to crash up. Send their number 8, Regia Taele. And Taele goes in and they try to poach that ball. And they didn't roll away quickly enough.
I believe we actually had a high tackle in there before the ruck came in. Yes.
Thank you.
Just one of those cases, a little bit of a seat belt where the arm kind of worked its way up across his neck.
And the kick to touch does not really get any ground, but it does set up a line out for Davenport. Really, they needed to get out of their half.
Sure, for the folks at home wondering why it seems like he just kicked across the far side of the field, so everybody understands all of the wind is blowing that way. To go the other way would have kicked directly into the wind, would have been very, very difficult to find touch.
Yeah, the wind really has shifted the last few minutes. Well taken. And that was the flanker, Max Goethals. Looking for the box kick. Now they can clear their lines. Mapani under it. Pretty comfortable. Offloading, but that one's intercepted. Botha just nabbed it. Well read by the fly half. Now they're looking to go wide. The fake. And the cut through. St. Thomas going over the top there. Again, a penalty in the ruck.
And a lot of credit there, Alex, to Botha. He picked off that pass, worked his way down the field. Even though the kick was across the field on it, he worked his way down anyway. And as it worked back across, as he knew it would, able to step in there, pick it off. Great opportunity for Davenport now with the penalty, and they're looking to put some points on the board.
Botha again with the attempt to get successful in his first one. Just eat their way into that, what was a 15-0 lead. Now 15-3. This one at an angle, probably about a 40-meter kick. It is up. Looks like it might be a little short. Just misses. At the same time, Davenport will be receiving a 22 dropout, so they'll still have some opportunity to push on this. St. Thomas, Charambira sends it far. Controlled well. Davenport now, what can they do with this? Goethals with a sidestep, goes straight up. Offload. And right over the ball is Phillips, but he is driven away. And St. Thomas really looking to go for those poach jackal opportunities. Now setting up the kick. And Hoving, that box kick went straight to Charambira. Charambira just like a high ball, chasing after it. 2 players up in the air, the ball spilling forward maybe And that was kind of a nasty collision there. A little bit worrying.
I think it may have looked worse than it was dirty, Alex.
Looked pretty
it
bad.
Looks
No,
like
it
the referee has already signaled the penalty to Davenport. I wasn't sure if he was just stopping time there. It looked like he was signaling the penalty off, and I would say that I would not be surprised if he is calling the penalty to Davenport, that we might see a card here as well, because he was coming from a distance and with a lot of force, and that's why we're seeing a player on the ground right now.
Did we have two players in the air at the same time? Does that matter? Charambera put his leg up a little bit.
Certainly, from a referee's perspective, Alex, I think they're looking for who's going for the ball, right? We want you going up in the air, trying to high point that ball, take it out of the air, gain possession. And all I'm looking at in that picture is I think one player is a little more up and one player is a little more forward. Again, how the referee sees that, I certainly cannot predict. But I think if he already is licking penalty, then there might be a higher possibility of something more just because of the distance and the aggression with which that hit did take place.
Did seem like both of them were up in the air, and there is a little bit of a chat about it, but I don't see anybody getting admonished too severely, so we may end up coming back for something like a scrum. Hopefully the players are okay.
And certainly, to be clear, both players put their hands up and had their eyes in the sky looking for the ball. Certainly no one intended to do anything here.
And we're going to come back for a scrum. So just, hey, this is a knock on. Two guys going for the ball in the air.
First thing I said, sometimes it just looks worse than it really is.
Right, yep.
And this is semifinal competition. Guys are giving it their all. We expect them to do everything they can.
Get the wind knocked out of you a little bit and get the breath back, and we're ready to go. 15-3, St. Thomas. Now, they scored 15 points in the first 15 minutes, but in the last period of just about the same amount of time, they have not been able to score anything. Defense a little bit stronger for Davenport. And now, how they can set something up. Looking to burn on the edge, and that offload maybe a little bit late. But we are going to have a chat about it. Damian Freeman trying to get that ball free. It will be a yellow card for a high tackle. And that's Matiha Pelva, who will go sit down on the naughty stool. And so this will be really, the first half will end with St. Thomas shorthanded. Davenport have this attacking line out. They have that extra player. Will they be able to find a little bit extra space? Take advantage of that.
Turning point here, Alex. You have 10 minutes, you have a man advantage. You've got to make them hurt.
Good win at the line out. Bota now looking to use Freeman. Out they go to the edge. Good run from Davenport. Now can they get quick ball? St. Thomas needs to organize. The tackle made, but they're charging through. The Panthers making ground. There you go again. Met behind the gain line, still able to get yardage after the hit. Once again, sending players in there. Now they've got an option.
The word is patience, Alex. Patience. They're doing good. Just wait for their chance. Keep going forward.
I have to say, I don't see a lot of it. Taele going close. Now they're looking to go wide. Just barely able to control that ball. Come back again, the Panthers. Another surge to the line. This one a little bit more careful. Kambani coming close. Now out to the right, to the left side, and in for the try, Davenport. They did very well there. Rezia Taele, the number 8, pushing away a little bit of attention and getting over the line just to the left of the post. There's a huge try for Davenport. They did that really quickly. They got that man advantage and that penalty, and it's just a minute and a half ago, and they were able to get points out of it.
Well, we had seen a couple set pieces from them now, Alex, and the first one they wanted to move the ball wide. The next one they changed the pace. They wanted to come back inside, crash up the middle. Here they went back out to the wide side, and as I said before, I think that's where they're really seeing the success. They have some nice speed on the outside. They just need to keep pushing that wing.
The kick is good, and it is 15-10. Zio Te'ele, the finance major.
And here's a big question, Alex. As the momentum has shifted there, and as you said, they did that really quickly, you've got 8 more minutes of man advantage.
Right.
If you can do that in 2, I started to think of what we could do with 8 more.
A high kickoff. Trying to control it. Oh, he just barely does it, is Max Goethals, but he is driven into touch while he's trying to control that ball. Good chase from his opposite number, Owen Phillips, and also that right wing, who's on the left, Matthew Arteta. Line out for St. Thomas. You see how slowly they set that up. Taking their time, hoping the man advantage seconds tick away. Go to the back again, Phillips. Tuba, Custodio. Again using Phillips to charge ahead. Very good in contact. Still on his feet, making ground. The back inside pass. That to Jabari Young. And back down to the line. How close are they now? Now the Bobcats looking together, but they get the penalty instead, not rolling. They'll come back, see if they want to just tap this and run, or if they select for a scrum. Something you see how quickly they can strike.
If I were them, I would tap, Alex. No need to go to set piece when you're down a man. There's not going to be as many advantages out there. Just keep it in tight, run hard forward. You're a very short distance from that line.
Instead, they will take the line out. In fact, they kicked it backwards to make sure they didn't kick it dead. Go for the line out. See if they go to the back with Phillips again, or Lotofilo in the front.
Great opportunity to maul.
And they go in the middle. Loose ball. St. Thomas retains. Not tidy, but they have it. Young. Still just getting shoved back a little bit. That speed of attack from St. Thomas, they need to build that again. Davenport with the double hit, driving back. They were just 3 meters from the line. They're right on the line. Suddenly they're way back here. The stab ahead, that's a kick pass, and just lost forward by Arteta. That is still a live ball. That didn't go into touch. And now we will come back for the knock on. But Davenport could have played with that, and they just left that. You know, you got to play the whistle, Tim. I mean, you know, if they hadn't seen it as a knock on, that could have been just picked up. They got to be careful there.
100%. And I think you kind of saw the way that it was bouncing. It looked like it kind of bounced over the try line but curved back in. Just to your point, play until you hear a whistle.
Davenport backed up into their 22 now. We are less than 5 minutes from halftime. 15-10. St. Thomas ran out to a 15-0 lead and gave up a penalty goal and then a converted try just a few minutes ago. And Davenport know that they can attack with St. Thomas being shorthanded in that back line. The kick ahead. That just rolls into touch. Did it come off a St. Thomas hand? Davenport kind of thought it did, but it was a little bit too late. Still, they've turned the field around.
And they're continuing to find success on the outside. They got to keep pushing at those kicks. Just a great way, like you said, inside your 22, on your own goal line with a knock on, all the way over to the other side of the field. Great flip from Davenport.
Crawford with the throw. plenty of options still for St. Thomas. Yes, they're shorthanded. They're able to do it. Lodofilo gets it. With Tuba out to Charambira. Charambira dances around a little bit, loses the ball forward, or somebody does. Davenport has it, and they're going to play with it. Good catch pass from Botha. Working their way through with Benny holding. Good flat pass. Sinclair out. The collisions in that breakdown, really big ones.
Got a high tackle coming here on that collision. Just a little bit of shoulder to head there.
And we were going to have a chat about it. We did have a yellow card for a high tackle. So we will, first of all, have a discussion between Jono Cooper and his AR, Diego Villalobos. What did they see there? High tackle? Was that a really serious one, or just one for penalty only? And if it's either one, Tim, what do you think? Posts?
I don't think it's a terrible idea to get posts here. And the reason we talked about it is because you'll put that back within 3 points at that point. It'd be two-point game. And also, we got 3 more minutes of time in the bin. So plenty of opportunity that we could put the 2 of those over.
We now have even more time in the bin because he is going to his pocket. That is another one. That's a big one. The tight head prop, Ivan Moore, goes off. And it does look like they're setting up for a kick for posts. Yeah, they would put it on the tee. And Botha puts that up and straight through, immediately takes points for that. And I'm very happy that when the ideas I come up are just not bad ideas. That's my threshold. As long as they're not terrible ideas, I'm happy. 15-13. Davenport has come almost all the way back. They looked in big trouble after 15 minutes, down 15-0, but they have come back. 2 penalty goals. They are now up 2 players for the next 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes or so. And that tackle, that's going to be a dump tackle.
This could be
penalty.
another one, Alex. This could be another one.
Harrison Nash not too happy about that tackle. There will be a discussion. Discipline. Discipline for St. Thomas. And we'll see about whether that is a card or just please don't make me put out another card. I don't think a referee wants to just start throwing cards and cards, but say, look, I'm not afraid to give you a third one, but let's have a discussion right now. You guys have to fix this.
The game has to be safe. This has to stop. I will say I'm not surprised that he didn't give anything further there because I do not think that was too terrible of a dump tackle there. The legs did not go very high where he was dropped on his head, but to your point, enough is enough. There can be no more concessions. This has to stop right now. Final warnings across the board.
If you've given a couple of cards for high tackles, borderline dangerous tackles become a big discussion. You can't live on the borderline the whole time because then tempers flare.
The benefit of the doubt, let's say, goes out the window after the second yellow card.
Now Davenport again with the line out. That one goes a little long. Somehow they control that. O'Day picks it up nicely. Flat ball. That's passed out the back. Very untidy from Davenport. They won't be happy with that. They lose that ball forward. Frustration from Damian Freeman. Saw that ball at his feet, tried to gather that up, but he was hit as he was picking it up.
This is going to get interesting as we move forward here, though, Alex, because both have seen something. He's seeing that St. Thomas is flying up on defense because they're down so many bodies there. He held that pass with the dummy. He made the flat pass behind the back. If it had gone to hand, I think we would have seen a slightly better break going through there where we could have had another offload. But keep an eye on that, holding the ball and making the late pass from both for Davenport.
With Tuba. Scampers around the back. He's going to go weak. Call his own number. He's dragged to the ground. Nobody was really with him.
I think he may have forgotten that there was no 8-man to come with him because they're in the bin currently.
And that ball is lost forward. Referee says No, it went straight down, and in fact, we might be going on a penalty advantage. Goes back. And a jump, which, well, let's talk about that, because jumping a tackler is illegal.
I would be surprised if there isn't one here, Alex. As we said, the benefit of the doubt goes out the window, and this is the second conversation we've had in the last 2 minutes about this. The question that's going to be is, if he does take a card, that is a big loss for St. Thomas with the kicking that has been going on in this game so far.
Sharon Beard trying to make something happen. And again, the discussion.
I'm not sure, Alex, also, did you see, was he setting up for a drop goal there? It sure
I don't
seemed
know,
like he was getting ready to kick one with no time.
I could see that. Well, we talked about just a warning. This is an extra warning really now this time. Penalty, penalty only. Jumping the tackler, you're not allowed to jump over that. That's dangerous play. That ball is tapped inside. It's still live. Is it live? Somehow Sharon Bira managed to tap that in along with Mapani. They tapped it down. There is going to be a penalty against Davenport. What a chase. Loose ball. One of the players hurt himself. They're going to kick wide, see if they can get Arteta to do something, but then say, no, let's bring that back. That was an interesting option, though. Just kick that across the field and send your wing to go catch it.
I was getting ready to get excited because he was about to be one-on-one going down the sideline with no time left.
Arteta versus Freeman, that would have been a good matchup. And a deep kick doesn't find touch. We go back, Ngidlana. Well grabbed, in fact. Good hands from Taele. And he's just fighting his way through. Makumba trying to drag him down, finally does. Good wide pass. This is good stuff from Davenport. Running aggressively. The ball comes back, quick ball. They set that all up. Taele. Actually, no, Taele's getting ready to get that ball. Benny almost through. Flip that ball back. Referee says play on.
And there's that face ball pass again, Alex. Dropping it shorter into these runners because they are trying to protect that outside.
Charging ahead with Gonzalez. Now we have some space. There should be space. And cutting back inside, Albrecht. And now a flat ball. This is really good from Davenport. Time is up in the first half. If they make a mistake, all St. Thomas wants is to force a knock on, something like that, and the half will be over.
The word before, Alex, was patience. Can they show it here
again? Very good word. Once again, they go wide. A little fake, and then a delayed pass from Botha. Benny once again going into contact. Digging that out. They're ready to go. O'Day dropping it off. Kambani charging through. Out to the hooker, Snidanko. He got close. Everyone getting over that ball, making sure they win those rucks. Nash down to the line. Kambani again. Stood up, smashed backwards. Botha. He has Magdalena with him. The chip ahead. Oh, he grabbed it! How did he grab that? There was no way that was going for him. He somehow picked the pocket, and the try is good. Tango Ngidlana goes over, the business administration major out of Gray's College, Johannesburg, South Africa. That was a piece of skill.
Nothing short of individual brilliance there. Although I will say, I would guess that if we had a mic on his coach on the sideline, that it would have been something like this. No. Great play.
Yes,
great play.
No,
excellent
no.
play. What a play.
No.
But
no. Okay.
To the point, though,
Good.
Alex,
Good
we
job.
talked about what they could do with 8 more minutes of man advantage. And here we
They
are
really
taking a
did,
lead
yeah.
into this after we were down 15-13 on from their perspective.
And because they were able to sustain, I don't believe they got their first yellow card onto the field. The kick is good. It is 20-15. Halftime, Davenport comes back from a 15-0 deficit to take the lead. And to your point, Tim, 10 points during that yellow card. Huge for them to be able to do that.
Absolutely. You got to take advantage of those opportunities where you can get points on the board and put something on the scoreboard. But specifically, let's look back at the way the game started. St. Thomas starting off with so much pace, so much pressure. Quite frankly, I think they just kind of ran themselves out of the room a little bit, where they were almost moving too fast. They gave Davenport a little bit of a window. Here we are back at halftime with a completely different picture.
Discipline will be the message for St. Thomas, and maybe momentum for Davenport. And we will take a little break. We will be back in a moment or two for the second half of this D1A Challenger Cup semifinal. Welcome back, everybody. We are getting ready for the second half of this D1A Challenger Cup semifinal between Davenport and St. Thomas. I'm Alex Goff. I'm with Tim Brofman and Coach. 15-0 after 15 minutes. St. Thomas in control, running everywhere, offloads, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. They're ready to take control of this game, and then everything changes.
Well, Alex, it's just the nature of momentum. You let guys run through you, they keep running through you, you finally put a shoulder down and make a big hit. We had a big hit from Davenport in the middle of the field about midway through that half. Shortly after that, obviously, we got some yellow cards coming in that gives a lot of advantages coming to the side that is not being penalized there, and they were able to capitalize on that, but certainly a tale of two parts of one half. 100%, 100 miles an hour, 100% pressure from St. Thomas, and then 100% penalties from St. Thomas after that as well.
The penalties also were, I mean, these weren't technical ticky-tacky penalties. We're talking about high tackles, not good high tackles, a dump tackle. This is stuff where if that continues to go, the referee's still going to be giving penalties. You know, on some of the technical stuff, sometimes the referee might lose interest and just continue to call penalties, but no cards. Here, on the safety issues, that's still going to keep coming.
Absolutely, and certainly I think the number one goal of every referee every day is everybody walks off of the field. And to your point, it's certainly nothing that they can clean up other than kind of, I would say, restraining themselves. Perhaps we would say they're moving at such a fast pace that maybe they're moving a little bit too fast for themselves to be able to control those situations where they're hitting a little too high, a little too late, not quite getting the wrap, dump tackles, everything like that. But certainly I would say that if they're able to clean that up and get back to the way that we started, or excuse me, the way that they started that game, we could see a very quick turnaround back in the other direction as well. And the question is, if they do, is Davenport ready for that defensive challenge?
This game is the first of two semifinals, and we will play the final on Sunday. We have so much rugby to go. As we look ahead to tomorrow as well with the D1A final, we got the D2 final with North Florida against Cal Lutheran. We have the D1A final championship match, Cal versus Navy. That's going to be such a great game. Everybody is anticipating just a really fun game, and I think the atmosphere is going to be outstanding. After this match, Santa Clara takes on Utah. The winner of that will play Sunday against the winner of this game. We still have no idea who's going to win this. And we also have the D1AA third place game, the Challenger Cup, and then also the D1AA final. Those will all be on Sunday. So an awful lot of rugby entertainment for you here on the CRAA YouTube channel. And also, if you're nearby, $25 for a weekend pass. I'm sorry, $25 to see Cal versus Navy, $25 to see what we've seen so far today. That's worth it. And come out to Kuntz Stadium. They've got two fields. We're playing on this turf field for Friday, and then going to the stadium field for Saturday and Sunday.
And just an excellent atmosphere out here, Alex. You know, it's a testament to the greatest game in the world that we all love so much. And I'm walking around on the sideline, meeting new people I've never met from the other side of the country who've played teams that I've played before or played for before. We've never met each other, but right away we're always friends, and that's why it's just a great atmosphere out here to just watch some good rugby and enjoy a beautiful Midwest afternoon.
And it is a beautiful day. It's been perfect, I think, with the clouds, so it's not broiling people too much.
But we have gotten a lot of sun. The sun is coming out.
Yeah.
We can certainly see everything.
Sunshine.
We don't need the lights or anything. It doesn't look like any rain, just perfect mid-50s where nobody's getting tired. Everybody's going to be able to give us full effort so we can be as entertained as possible watching.
St. Thomas getting ready to kick off. They are down to, I think, 14.
We should have been, I don't know if we saw them officially do it at the end of the half, but certainly the card would have been up at the end of half.
Ivan Moore is still in the sin bin for his high tackle. And we are back, I think, down to just the one player shorthanded for St. Thomas. Still going to be difficult for them. They're going to be kicking off. just a few seconds as the referee, John O'Cooper, checks what he has, but he has a task on his hand to make sure that the temperature stays high but not too high.
Certainly important to see how St. Thomas adjusts, because if they continue the way they were going, I think things are going to continue to spiral, but an opportunity here to right the ship.
Davenport controls it. And St. Thomas certainly coming in wanting to defend aggressively, make those hits behind the gain line. Hoving with the box kick. And Lotofilo saw that coming, and he popped out of the defensive line and went right back to go field that with his bright pink headgear. And here we come with Mapani. Mapani getting it out to the winger, Makumba. Tackled, but Matubatuba digs it out now. Wide pass to Phillips, to Charambira. Charambira trying to find somebody that sort of skipped through everybody, cleaned up by Crawford. Very savvy player is Daniel Crawford. He does very well there. St. Thomas, though, moving backwards. Dodio. Out to Young. Matubatuba goes left, a little bit behind Phillips. He's able to control that. Davenport ready to launch. Lotofilo. Matubatuba now picks that up. Back to Charambira. He's going to send a high ball there for Makumba to get under. And that goes pretty much everywhere. Ooh, well, a little bit of a push, a little bit of a shove. Yes, they're going to call a push on a player without the ball, and that was the fullback, Thango Gidlana. I'm going to get that right the first attempt at some point, Gidlana. And he was under it, and he wasn't able to get the handle. Going back to pick that up, and he was pushed, and that's a penalty. You can't push someone off the ball.
Yeah, Alex, and I think he'll be particularly upset with it because he was right there to make a play. The ball was bouncing around. If he just kept his eyes on the ball, I think he actually would have had a good opportunity to scoop that up and taken it the other way.
Good kick to touch from Bota. And coming back on is Ivan Moore. And so St. Thomas will be back to full strength now. But it cost them 10 points.
Important for Davenport here. Now we're back to even. We're on their side of the field. Can you guys make something happen here? Extend this lead.
The throw just gathered by Kambani. They stay on their feet as well to stay on his feet, in fact. And the ball is going now. Panthers pretty happy with that. Kambani still has the ball, and he's just backing up now. The only player there was Moore trying to stop him, manages to tackle him. And now we come out with that flat pass to Benny. A little delayed pass. Benny thought he wasn't held in the tackle and got back up, and referee says, no, you were tackled. You can't just stand back up when you're tackled.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what he was thinking there. It seemed like he was definitively at the bottom of that rock. And, you know, you never know. That's why we say try and get away with what you can get away with. Keep playing until you hear a whistle. But to the point that we talked about, missed opportunity for Davenport there in the pressure situation as the game comes back to even.
Well, he wasn't going to lose anything. Set the rock. Let's be conservative there. Set the rock. Win the ball. Fight another day. Crawford now with the throw. They get that into the middle. Tapped back nicely, in fact, by Napton. Lotofilo playing halfback. The studio goes into contact. It's going to be advantage against Davenport.
I think we have a high tackle on Davenport there in that last carry.
Mapani sneaks it, and then there's the offload. Lotofilo in support. Look at that pace again that he has in the offload off the deck. Coming around. Was that a high tackle? Yes, that is going to be a high tackle.
I would be surprised if we don't get a card here, Alex, considering how many have been handed out to St. Thomas. We had a high tackle down here that we were playing advantage for that led to this play, which is stopped from near the goal line with another high tackle. I would not be surprised. He's going to have a talk with the AR, but certainly the possibility. And what a momentum shift it would be for St. Thomas to go up a man here while on the goal line.
That was Custodio, who has a really nice turn of pace. And we saw that when he went around on the edge, setting up a potential try-scoring situation early in the first half. And he was grabbed high. And no card. And for me, it looked to me like around the shoulders, the top of the shoulders. It did not look to me to be a little higher than that. So that's why I think maybe
I would say the benefit of not a direct contact.
Right.
We've seen several where we're just going straight at each other there. It was kind of, he was trying to duck back, kind of duck underneath the tackle, and he got him across the neck. But again, just the aspect of repeated infringements and the way this game has been going, we expect the referee is going to start to really exert some pressure in terms of putting a stop to those dangerous plays. And
certainly you have to be consistent, so you can't let that borderline tackle go for the other team. You've just been two players. You come back to the other team and say, hey, it's what's good for the goose, good for the gander.
But we did have instances where there were stern talking tos and warnings for St. Thomas before they took their cards. So certainly I think both teams are at a point where, as we discussed before, all benefits of the doubt have gone completely out the window here.
Yes, they have. And so discipline, a crucial thing for both teams here. And that offload going out to Lotofilo had a chance to set up a try. Now St. Thomas will probably take the line out after we've been attending to a player. I think that's Phillips, who's just attending, just having his ankle wrapped up a little bit. Owen Phillips, who played for a club that I played for, Old Albanians in St. Albans in England. So I told him that he and I are essentially cousins. That was actually Dan Crawford going in, and Crawford is all strapped up, ready to go. And ball tapped away. Was that tapped forward by Davenport? Rescued by St. Thomas. Charambira is going to play halfback. Get that out to the prop, Young. Just using the big, powerful players in tight at the moment. Another pick and go. There's Phillips. Another pick and go, just working their way closer.
He's calling in more forwards, and I agree with him. Keep going. This is working. Ball is safe. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. Patience.
And then Custodio, Charambira, stood up. Can they get him into touch? Yes, they can roll him into touch. And just when you said that, keep going, patience, they lost their patience and they went wide for reasons unknown.
Well, it's so hard for players too, Alex. Like we talked about nerves, adrenaline, everything's rushing. You're thinking, we're this close. All I got to do is break one tackle. All I got to do is make one pass. And you're always hearing from the sideline as there's a pass to be made, one more, one more, one more. But when you're out there, you got to maintain your composure and just know that we're in this situation. It's good. Just keep the ball, keep going forward.
And somebody else is calling for the ball because they have confidence and they know they can do something with it. Well, it's pretty tough here. This is a good defensive front from Davenport. Now they have a chance maybe to win this and get out of trouble. They go with it off the top. Inside their own 22, crash it up, untidy ball. And finally the Panthers are able to consolidate, get a ruck going, but they are backed up against their line. Do well there. That was a good carry. Back to kick it clear. Bota, high kick, makes about 25 meters from the back of his try zone.
Really good kick there, Alex. I mean, let's be honest. A lot of things could have gone wrong. And the most important part that I would give him a lot of credit for, he made it to touch. We just played a lot of rugby down there. We're under pressure. We don't want them running back at us. Let's take a second, set up in a line out, just get our breath.
20-15, Davenport leads. St. Thomas looking to attack again. That is tapped back, in fact, by Kambani. And a big, wide pass. What can they do there? Getting out to the right wing. Albrecht little bit static ball now, Davenport. They had a chance there to just really break it through, maybe just kick it. And no tackler release there, and just another piece of impatience from St. Thomas, trying to get that jackal, trying to get that turnover ball.
Excellent work by Davenport. Weathering that storm, though, defending their own line. Now they're rewarded with the penalty, able to take the ball out back to midfield.
And Bota gets that ball to touch once more. Davenport just working their way out of trouble. They have to feel pretty good that they rescued that, because they were down, backed up against their line. Definitely under threat.
And credit to both, like we said, knowing his team. He put it into touch. His man went out there and stole the line out. Confidence in your teammates. Team game.
Davenport now. They have a lot of options here, just around in the middle of the field. And they go to the front. Set that ruck. And here they go with the number 8, Taele. Look to set up that box kick. Hoving launches it. That's chaseable. Good tackle there. I think that was Bannister with the tackle. And then isolated was Cherambira. They had 2 chasers in there, and Benny went over, actually. Benny went in there to force that holding on, and they're tapping quickly. It's Davenport who wants to go quick. Gotels, the flanker, trying to make that offload. Loose ball, but it's gathered by the Panthers. Bota now. Now threatening the 22. Back to that inside center. Sam Gotels. O'Day feeds his pod partner, Kambani now. Back to Bota. Back to Gotels, the brother, Max Gotels. Once again, well, there, that was a...
Well, we called that one from side. So we had a player in for St. Thomas there, had his hands on the ball. He didn't quite take it away yet, but the player who rucked him off definitively came from the side. Just 100% saw that the ball was going to be taken there. Last-ditch effort. Referee's certainly going to blow that up every single time.
Just in the end, a little bit slow to the ball, and having to do that just to protect the ball. We're going to get a couple of subs. Finally, we're seeing some of the reserves come on. Xavier Leatherman, first-year player out of Oceanside, California. Went to the Army and Navy Academy in Oceanside, and he's come in at the front row. We've got a reserve coming in also for St. Thomas. And immediately into the action, number 20, Gaspar Pancorvo, wins that line out. Gives a little more height, a little more ups for St. Thomas. Pancorvo manages to control that, pops that back to the other reserve coming in, Jadian Beer. But yes, they're going to call that a knock-on. That was difficult. But you see how dangerous Matuba can be. Just if you don't pay any attention to him, he's going to burn you around that ruck.
They did good, Davenport, to hold some pressure on him before, not really let him going into those short channels, but now he's starting to find his way back in there, and you see that offload behind the defense, just so deadly if that would have come to hand there for St. Thomas.
We'll go back to the scrum now, and Davenport will be relatively happy with this. Hoving has some options there. They have Benny, who's been really sort of a focal point of their attack out there, the outside center, although he's usually lining up sort of as an inside center from St. Andrews College in South Africa. And a big drive from St. Thomas. That ball just came out the side, but it's going to be a penalty against Davenport. They were under serious pressure.
No doubt in their minds whatsoever there, Alex. They put 100% effort on that. You could see as soon as they hit the engagement, they took the space in the middle, they dropped again, they just immediately started pushing through. sooner or later, your props are not going to be able to take that pressure. They're going to pop up, and there you get that penalty call.
Cherambira does not make it to touch. Really good rescue, but then just picking it up. There's that Bota trying to keep that ball infield, and he does, and then he knocks it on as he picks it up, and he really wasn't under pressure. He rushed it a little bit, and that's going to end up being a scrum for St. Thomas, and they'll be very happy with that. It's only about 7 meters from the line.
Well, let's consider two choices here, Alex. On the one hand, they've been moving the ball fantastically, St. Thomas. A lot of ability to attack on the outside, but after they just demolished that scrum, if I'm on this side, I'm thinking we're about 7 out. Let's push this thing all the way into the try zone. No need to make any passes here.
I would love to see that. See that 8-man shove go. Always difficult to keep that square when you do that.
They're just holding this time.
The high pass to Custodio. He's unable to handle it, but Makumba rescues it. Still moving Makumba. Makumba still on his feet, offloads it to Pelva. Pelva tackled just short of the line. Again, they're moving that ball. Custodio getting it all the way out to Arteta and over his hands, far too high, and it goes into touch. That was a 3-on-1, 3-on-2. They definitely had the overlap, maybe just littler passes.
Yeah, and I think there was a lot of, let's call it desperation out of Davenport here. They were firing when they were overloaded. They're trying to make those hits just to force a bad pass, and they were fortunate to get one.
Well, a bit of a let-off then for Davenport. They'll take it. Snedanko with the throw. Taele charges up. And back to clear it. And did he drop that ball? Yes, he did. That was a low pass, difficult to handle.
I'll tell you, Alex, Davenport so far has been doing a great job of defending this line for the last several minutes, but the question is going to have to be asked, how many times can they keep doing it before eventually St. Thomas is going to get one over here?
I've been dealing with an obstruction call there as well on trying to block chasers, blockers on that kick, and but they're going to come back with a scrum anyway.
Like we talked about before, Alex, if I was them, I would push this thing as far as I could, rely on your 8-man to just be the better player, take the momentum, and just push it over the line. We saw what happened last time when we tried to make 6 passes. I'm not saying they can't do it, but I think maybe this would be a good opportunity for them to just reset, slow things down.
Razia Taele comes off, and we have a replacement at number 8. But Taele with a try to his name today, a number of very strong carries. What will St. Thomas do with this scrum? Referee doesn't like it, wants to reset it. But there are chances, options, opportunities for St. Thomas here. They can go wide quickly. They can drive it. They can run an 8-man pick to the right and just push their forwards over. Their forwards have been very effective. Just getting vertical and powerful close to the line. They just haven't stayed with it. Davenport still holding on to a 5-point lead, 20-15. And we get a penalty against St. Thomas.
I'm worried there might have been a miscommunication there, Alex. That definitely the loose head for St. Thomas was going straight across. And it seemed like the number 3 was just planning to hold feet. He did not put much of a shove on. I think he just thought they were setting up for offense, and just miscommunication by the 2 sides of the front row there.
That kick does not make touch. It's tapped in. Everybody trying to get as much distance as possible. And the defense and the chase is good enough. Little congratulations there for Tamuka Kambani, and a knock-on by St. Thomas. And I think a lot of people watching this, and I'm going to try and channel that with this question, how did St. Thomas not score there?
That's a great question, Alex.
How did
Part
they
of
not
me wants to
score?
say I'm not 100% sure, but part of it goes back to the decision making. Like we said there, I cannot explain to you why one prop is pushing, the other one's trying to hold feet. For that reason, they turn. Just a miscommunication, let's say. But back to the simple basics. They had such good carries down here, just going forward, going forward, going forward. There was no need to force passes, just a few unnecessary forced errors.
Well, we do have a change in the call, checking with the AR. It's going to be a penalty against Davenport for a tip tackle.
He tipped him a little bit out of the ruck, saw some feet going up in the air, and you saw the sideline get very, very upset about it. And then after the conversation with the AR, we determined why we're seeing feet in the air after we've had enough of a talk about the safety of play during this game.
And back comes St. Thomas with another chance, this time with the line out. Pancorvo is up there. That one is not straight, and there was a contest. So that's going to be a scrum for Davenport. Once again, the Panthers get a little bit of a let-off.
Let's see what happens here, Alex. After the miscommunication we just talked about with the St. Thomas scrum, are they going to go after this one? They certainly had a really great drive before to take that penalty. It would be a great opportunity to do so again. But no, they chose for the line-out.
They chose the line-out, which you see rarely. And that was a little bit loose, and it's actually rescued by the Bobcats. Bobcats have it. Coming picked up by Pearson. Excuse me, Dojan Wood. Dojan Wood digging it up. Now the forwards get moving. Just the pick and go.
Telling you, Alex, they should stay here. 40 phases if it's necessary. It does not matter. You're going forward. Oof.
And that pick and go was just a little bit on his own, and he lost it forward. Big collisions going in around this ruck, and it will be a scrum for Davenport.
And while we're talking, Alex, about, we said the way we phrased the question was, how did St. Thomas not score? Let's take a second to appreciate that Davenport is spelled with a D, and they certainly brought their defense here today because they have been on their own line for about 12 minutes now, and they have given up nothing to the opponent during this time.
A lot of effort being put into this. And now with this scrum, the question is how much distance can they get on any clearance kick, or will they do a clearance kick? They seem to be setting up a little bit wider this time.
I again think St. Thomas should attack the scrum.
And they do a very quick strike. And yes, Davenport's going to run. Hoving just took it himself. He was isolated though, and they just lost that ball in contact. They went to come over that. Didlana tried to help out, and they just couldn't control it.
Well, he was kind of rolling over the tackler, trying to turn back and set the ball, and some additional bodies fell on top of him. I was wondering if maybe we weren't going to get a rolling away there call, but I think in the process of the tackle is when he lost it, and that's why there was just no opportunity to get a call on the other way.
So a scrum for St. Thomas on the 22. We have been here, it feels like, we're right in the middle of this second half, just halfway through. It feels like they've been here the whole time in the second half. Put in Dojan Wood. Tries to dig that drive is there, and the scrum wheels around, and that is a penalty in the scrum for Davenport. So both scrums have at some point made a big play to force a turnover.
Yes, excellent response from Davenport as they were just letting St. Thomas kind of get the better of them in the last few scrums. Really good there to get the penalty going back the other direction. And for the first time in a while, as you said, move back towards the middle of the field.
Both make sure of touch, line out just about 5 meters from the halfway line. Interesting that earlier when they had that not straight call, Davenport opted for the line out. They didn't opt for the scrum, and then they kind of overthrew that or underlifted. What can they get going on this time? A couple of different pieces of personnel in that line out now. You can tell just by the slightly brighter jerseys. Well, they go to the back there for Goethals. Referee says not straight. Not happy with it. We're going to have another one. We're just going to go with Davenport line out again. Kambani goes up this time. It's gathered by Botha. And he is isolated. Right over the ball goes the number 8, Lotofilo. He forces a penalty. St. Thomas goes quickly. Pancorvo goes into contact. Not 10, Davenport. Cherambira getting ready to kick for that line out. Once again, able to put on pressure. That kick, he gets about as much as he can out of it. Excellent kick. And now about 6-7 meters from the line, St. Thomas has an excellent chance. Once more, the throw from Jadian Beer will be hugely important. They have the tall Gaspar Pancorvo to go up, but they don't go up with him, and it is snagged once again. Tamuka Kambani goes up for it. Davenport trying to run through. There's no one over that ruck. That was just a loose ball. And a little bit fortunate, perhaps, are the Panthers. It's going to be a penalty for no tackler release.
Once again, Alex, D for Davenport, D for defense, no matter how many times they're down there. I do wonder if maybe St. Thomas might be kicking themselves. From what we've seen on kicks, that seems like a very makeable one, in which case you could have less than 3-point game, and considering how much time they've spent down here, a lot of further opportunities for a further kick that could make the difference.
And that was something that they worked on. They attempted 2 in the first half. They got 1. They missed another one. But it's almost as if that's not become an issue anymore. Goethals takes it. Finally, a clear set piece. Benny coming out wide now, looking to use Freeman. Freeman cuts back inside, beats the tackler. Hoving to Botha. Botha doesn't like what he sees. Takes it himself. Hoving again. Now just a bit of a frantic pass. And that was an opportunity there for Adamo. Adamo could have just kicked that ahead. But instead that goes into touch. And it went into touch, in fact, on the full. So it's going to go back to where he kicked it from. There was a chance there to just break it open by Davenport. Just a couple of little passing errors, and they're not able to.
Alex, I'm telling you, there's a gap in here. He sees it, he wants to go to it. The St. Thomas defense is blitzing up, trying to really shoot that gap when he's trying to move the ball wide. If he gets a chance here, he's going to be able to show and go, split through that gap. That could be a really, really big play for Davenport. With the time we have left, it could make all the difference in the world.
And he'll need somebody with him. And certainly speed to tackle and speed to challenge for possession by St. Thomas is one of the reasons they're able to maintain this field position. They just have not been able to finish, especially on set piece. Slightly different look here from this line out. Pancorvo now standing in the front, lifted by one player to see if he can disrupt that line out. And he cannot. Well taken by Bannister. Out wide they go. The kick, the first kick in open play like that we've seen for a while, and it is dropped. Dropped by Cherambira. He wasn't able to take it. It kind of knuckled. It kind of caught up to him a little faster than he expected, and he lost that. And Davenport, I swear this is the first time they've had decent possession in the opposing part of the field all second half.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Alex, I don't remember turning my head to the left over the last 24 minutes. So, but certainly, as you said, big opportunity here. They flipped the field, won at their strongest point, and here we are.
And now, setting up very wide, very deep are the Davenport backs. Mason Albrecht's their left wing, way back in his own half. They send Benny straight up. Big clear out, big collision. Opportunities. And they're just sending it down the line. Freeman, Undalala. Albrecht, and just not a great offload to him, and he wasn't able to get it. Knock that forward, but they're inside the 22. A lot of adventure, a lot of inventiveness from the Davenport back line.
I think that's a point where they need to have a conversation amongst themselves as we get further down into the final minutes of this game, that maybe making offloads from the ground is not exactly what we want to do. We want to protect the ball here, and as you said, stay on this side of the field for more than a few seconds.
Field position. In all the games we've seen so far today, field position has been so important, and understanding the value of it when you have a dichotomy between the two teams, as we saw in the first game that you and I did, where Arizona State and Iowa State fully understood the value of field position and won comfortably as a result. It was a bit more of a back and forth in the next game, Millennium Atlantic against Western Washington. Those are the two D1AA semifinals. In this one, Davenport has been under pressure, and they've dealt with the field position problem by just defending like demons and attacking that set piece, especially the line out, making sure the line out isn't functioning the way that St. Thomas wants it to, and just making, as you said, you know, defending as much as possible and not giving up on that.
Alex, as I tell the young boys all the time, if we didn't think people were going to drop the ball, we wouldn't practice scrums. So you're seeing these situations here where you need to prepare for bad things are going to happen. But it's better that they happen on the other side of the field, where if the other team gets the ball, what are they doing now? They're going to clear their own lines as well.
Right.
Much better than happening on your own line, where this scrum is a 5 meter and your 8-man can basically walk over for 5.
Gedlana and both are deep for Davenport, expecting that kick. Charambira has an excellent boot on him, but they've also set up a potential attacking line, have St. Thomas. So options all around. Dojin Wood sends that instead to Tatima. And another hard charge, a hard carry. Davenport unable to get hands on that. Back to Charambira now. That kick is high. It makes distance, doesn't make a ton of distance, but a pretty good clearance from the fly half for St. Thomas. Davenport now will take that. And I think at some point we might be talking about what's the value here for Davenport. If they get a penalty, do you kick for points here? Because that makes it a 2-score game.
Certainly, I think that's a conversation you have to have.
Well taken again by Goethals. 2 players into that. Quick ball for Davenport. Back to the other side, back to the hooker, Snedanko. Botha once again sends that to Benny. And that pass was allowed to go. Kind of a smart move from the fullback. But Davenport has backed up about 20 meters in this entire sequence. Now perhaps a little bit more go forward. Dug out again. Botha, again, they're shooting up. Was looking to make that work. Offloaded back inside. Snedanko goes himself. Are they setting up that box kick? Benny threw himself all on his own. The clear out is just barely there. And we saw Testero coming up quickly for St. Thomas. He felt that that ball was out. He wasn't penalized for it, so he was fine. Kambani took it up. St. Thomas think they've turned it over, and yes, they have. A holding on penalty. Again, getting right over that. That was Testero, Maximo Testero, doing what you want from a player who comes on from the bench, which is raising the level of intensity, trying to make a play. Former D1AA All-American. St. Thomas won CRAA's D1AA last year on the final play of the game. A grubber down in goal. that required a long conversation about whether he got it down or not, because it was just before the dead ball line. That was a fun game. A lot of fun. And now Jadian Beer with the throw. Well taken. Dojin Wood wide to Datima. Charambira delays his pass, sends it to Mapani. Mapani still running, he's around the outside. Just barely dragged by his opposite number, Umgidlana. Trucking it up now, St. Thomas. Oh, the pass was there, but potentially for Napton. Penalty, not rolling. Now, do you go for points?
I would, Alex. You get the ball back. You can get another one. You've spent the entire half down on this end. Your kicker has demonstrated that he can make a lot of kicks on this side of the field. Put yourself in a position to have a chance with 10 minutes left.
And indeed, they have made that decision. A little bit of composure from the Bobcats. And that might have been a message that came on from everywhere, because I saw a couple of the players who had just come on, Pancorvo, one of them, saying, let's go for posts, go for posts. Charambira now has a chance to get his side, still with 11 minutes left in this game, get his side within 2 with this penalty goal. The kick is up and straight through.
And now something we need to point out as well, Alex, as we come back to midfield and they prepare to get this ball back with it being a 2-point game. That is almost the exact same kick that was available to them about 5-6 minutes ago. So we could very well have been sitting here 21-20 right now with the advantage in St. Thomas's favor for the final 10.
And now what can Davenport do as an answer? But 20-18, which means a penalty goal can win it for St. Thomas. That kick, is that going too far? Just bounced just before the touchline. Dancing around, trying to get out of trouble. And there's a lot of trouble for him. Makumba does extremely well. But he let that go because he thought it might go out on the full. Custodio again trying to make something happen, and then the wide pass. Mapani loses that ball, gathered by Davenport. Panthers now. And once again, the defender shooting up, as you point out, Tim.
Davenport looking for an offsides, and they are going to get it. I almost said I believe the AR called that one in from the side. Number 12, I believe it was. I couldn't quite see the number. For St. Thomas was 100% planning to shoot that line and pick off a pass. Just got a little too eager too quickly.
Now, do you go for posts here? Looks like they sent somebody out before they had a chance to discuss it. The tee is already out.
An important part of this, though, Alex, I believe we've seen 3 balls that have hit the post.
Yes.
Everybody remember, the ball is 100% live. If I were Davenport, I would make sure that everybody on my team, with the exception of the guys covering the clearance kick that's coming, are moving down the field. So if this does become a dirty ball, we got plenty of chances to scoop it up and put it over as well.
Joshua Botha. Just about 40 meters away. He puts that up. It's got the distance. It's good. Right down the middle, clutch kick. Very difficult, in fact. Those long range right in front of the post kicks, they're tough. And Joshua Botha gives us a 23-18 score line. Crucial for them. It means to tie it. St. Thomas needs to score a try. Puts them under pressure again. Beautifully taken by Phillips. He went up in the air, knocked it back to Napton. Napton makes a little bit of ground. The 2 flankers combining to retain that kickoff. Keeping that ball alive. Charambira picks it off his bootlaces. Now St. Thomas. What can they do? Phillips smashed. Dojin Wood looking to use Pancorvo, but a little bit late for him. He manages to do very well, actually. Gets through the gain line, snakes his way through. And the inside tackle, that one, the inside pass, that tackle, he flipped over. I think a little bit unlucky there, but that is going to be a penalty, and it's going to be a card. And that is a huge turn of events. As Xavier Leatherman puts his hands out saying, what? It was a tackle that flipped the player over.
I can understand why he's upset.
Yeah.
He didn't flip anybody. It's just the physics of what happened. But when you have bodies moving at such speeds, that unfortunately is the way that it goes. And to some degree, if you were wrapping in the tackle, you would hold on to those legs. We would not see them up in the air.
Right.
So credit to the referee. And as we've talked about, safety is paramount.
Taken well by St. Thomas. St. Thomas driving forward again. Can they just stay with their forwards, stay with their powerful players? And they are going conservative there. Going for really their short yardage, about 10 meters, 12 meters away from the line.
And plenty of time, Alex. Plenty of time to be patient, not force the ball, no small mistakes, just keep going forward.
It's a pick and go for Undalela. He's dumped back. Another one, this time from Testero. But the penalty against St. Thomas. Diving onto the ball, I think.
Looks
That
like he came
gesture
from
was
the
different
side
from-
there, I believe, as the ball carrier
Yeah.
went out. He did not get quite to his support men. Support men came a little bit from an angle. Referee's not going to be happy with that. He wants you going straight over.
A lot of bodies flying around or lying there as well. Both kicks to touch. He makes a lot of ground on this one. Missed opportunities for St. Thomas. They won't be happy with that. Now we have about 6 minutes left in this game. 23-18. Davenport leads this. We had such a torrid scoring pace early in this game. First 15 minutes, we had 15 points scored, and then it dropped down, and this second half, we have seen just a penalty goal each team. It has been an absolute battle, especially up against that Davenport try line. The throw taken very nicely by Goethals. Max Goethals just had a big game for Davenport, hasn't he? And then the kick, the box kick, once again, lost, not controlled. Mapani fakes the pass, goes down the sideline, chips it ahead. That ball is tapped or tipped a little bit, goes into touch. And that will be a line out for St. Thomas, but not really very tidy by the Bobcats. Weren't really able to launch anything. See if they can launch something here. Phillips takes it. Straight up through the middle goes Datima. And now the kick down the sideline from their half, rolls into touch inside the 22. And yes, that's going to be a 50-22. What a huge play.
Alex,
right
we've
there.
been talking in both games about the small margins. The balls that
Yes.
are bouncing right before the sideline. We saw one with the kickoff down here before. Just barely getting that ball to bounce over the 22 there. Literally about 1 meter onto the other side.
Heads up call from the assistant referee, seeing that that was going to be happening. There was no confusion on that call. And now, St. Thomas, but that's going to be a penalty
Tough and dog.
coming through that line out before the line out was over.
Very good play from St. Thomas there. They've been having some difficulty in the last few lineouts putting that ball all the way to the back. They run a little bit of a dummy fake. They come right back to the front. They're able to get a somewhat uncontested throw, and then, of course, the penalty after.
And now, what's the option? They're going to go with a tap move. Napton sends it to Phillips. Phillips sends it wide. The cut back inside from Beer. Davenport tries to steal that. Instead, there was no tackle or release. Another penalty. Another quick tap, this time from Makumba. And is he held up? He's not a big man. And Davenport likes their chances. And yes, Davenport holds it up. When you hold that up and that becomes a maul, if the ball doesn't come out, that will be a turnover.
Just great play by Davenport there. Get him standing up straight, keep him from setting that ball, passing it off to everyone as we talked. St. Thomas wants to move it, keeping it forced on there. Just a great opportunity. And once again, excellent defense on the line.
Nokutenda Makumba, an excellent player and a very, very shifty player, but he's not big. And if you can get under that ball and hold him up, he's not able to flop down. Players are too strong.
And I'm excited to see what happens here, Alex. They've made substitutions. The scrums have gone strong to St. Thomas, then strong to Davenport. Big opportunity here. 2 minutes left, down in the end. What are you going to do? But you see a lot of new numbers on the backs there. A lot of guys coming in, so we'll see how this affects it for the final few scrums here.
Okay, the substitution in the front row for Davenport right at the end of the game. We have about 2 minutes, a little bit more than 2 minutes left in the game according to the clock that we can see. This will be a huge battle in this scrum. I think we're waiting for potentially one more substitution to come in. We're just checking on that. Everything's fine. Referee says good, let's go. We see Kyler Valia coming on for St. Thomas in the second row. And he's there right now to put maximum effort into this scrum. Look at that battle. Davenport, quick strike, is able to keep it. Bota kicks it deep. Mapani Charambira still has it. Maybe kept that a little bit too long. Nicely taken down around the ankles. However, St. Thomas still with the ball. Still time. All they need to do is score once. Now there's space out wide. The big wide pass. Arteta. And he is tackled and he just trying to offload that. Think about that offload and loses that ball once more.
Yeah, just unfortunate. It was a really great break from there, but when he hit the ground, just lost a little bit of the control of the ball.
Just tuck it and hold on to it, right? And instead just thinking about just offload. And that goes back to what you said, Tim, in the first half, that the offload game is pretty exciting, but if you're not getting those connections, sometimes you're going to make those mistakes. And at crucial moments, the mistakes just hit a little harder.
Absolutely, 100%, Alex. Like we said, we've talked about it. They've had the chances here. Just got to keep that ball in hand. Somebody's just got to put their head down and say, I'm going over no matter what you guys do.
We have a lot going on with this scrum. And we stop a little bit of a chat with the AR.
I think he's just making sure that both front rows are holding their weight. Nobody's leaning in early and wants to make sure that this, in the final moments here, that we have a 100% even scrum start.
Final moments indeed. We have less than a minute to go. It is 23-18. Davenport, remember, had to come back from 15-0 down, which they did do. And they have held on. Big drive again. Quick. It is a quick strike, but Hoving lost that ball, trying to control it. It just came rolling out of the back of the scrum. One more shot maybe. St. Thomas has a scrum. What can they do? And yes, you can see it. Kyler Valia says yes. He's got the enthusiasm. This is most of the bench. 5 players, I think, from the bench have come into this scrum. The entire front row and the entire second row. It's going to be down to them. We're going to stop just for one more moment and just have a little chat. Diego Villalobos making an observation, I think. And it may be just, hey, I'm going to look at one side, you look at the other side, see what happens. Down for this scrum, crucial scrum. Time is essentially up. St. Thomas needs to score a try to tie it. They need a converted try to win it. Davenport needs to stop them to win this game. Those are the stakes. Dojanwood digs it out. And the backs go. Is it there? Charambira dives over, touches it down, and finally, St. Thomas is able to execute and score. And he scores with no time left, dives over, running Charambira as your main strike runner. Diogo Custodio was the first receiver, and then Charambira loops around and takes that and dives in. And that is it. That ties it up. 23-23. We have the kick to come.
Huge conversion coming here, Alex. And credit to St. Thomas. They ran that play. They made one pass to the guy they wanted. He took that gap. He wasn't thinking twice about it. Like we said, I'm going over the line. You are not going to stop me.
There is a time limit on taking a conversion. And if we end up tied, I'm sure we have overtime because we need to get a winner. Charambira now setting up. This is definitely a makeable kick for him. The kick is up, and it is curls around, and it does not make it over. The wind caught it. Just a gust of wind. I'm serious that the wind just picked up rather aggressively in the last 10 seconds or so, and that blew the ball away.
Yeah, he's just going to wish that he'd kept that one a little bit lower, a little bit stronger, as we talked about before. That wind coming across the field is going 100% that direction, right into his face.
Blew that ball. It looked like it was going to go through, and the wind just took it away. And you know what? We have time for the kickoff. Deep kick. Lotafelo. He's taken it. And now we go wide. Charambira trying to run his way out. Discipline needed from both sides. Patience. Clarity needed from both sides. Cutting back in, Napton. Phillips takes it up. St. Thomas has a long way to go.
And they need to be careful here. They're playing in their own end, Alex. You quickly turn a penalty right in front of the post. Bota is not going to miss that kick.
Custodio takes it over, and are they thinking maybe just to kick it? A little grubber through. Dangerous stuff. Umgilala. And now picked up by Albrecht. Nowhere to go. Manages to retain it. Is the drop goal in play? Snidanko takes it up. Benny through with the offload. Can it be? Oh, just little dips. And then the pass out. Is that it? Is that it? Damian Freeman in for the try. Out of nowhere, Tango Mdidlana makes the sidestep. Freeman going in, and it does a nice little backflip at the end of that. What a play, what a try.
We talked about it, Alex. Risky business, even with no time on and with the game at a draw, to put that kick on, to keep playing down in your own end. 100% credit to Josh Bota. We talked about this before. He's been waiting all day. That St. Thomas line is shooting through. He plays the short pass to his man, runs right behind that defense, an offload later, and we're over the line. Excellent, excellent, excellent finish from those guys, and excellent recognition by Bota.
Joe Benny has been such a go-to runner for them, and sometimes a decoy, and he did superbly well there. But then I think with the presence of mind to continue to send it wide, certainly there it was, 28-23. The kick is good, just for good measure, 30-23, and that is your ball game. We do not go to overtime. Davenport, can you believe it? After all that, almost no points through the second half, we get that try and tie it up, and then St. Thomas is in a position to take the lead. The wind blows that kick, and then Davenport comes down and scores to win it and get to Sunday's final. What a game. And it's tough. It's tough. You could come up, shake hands. It was a great game, a fantastic contest between the two of them. But I think to your comment, Tim Brofman, the defense from Davenport through most of the second half was astonishing.
100%, Alex. If I remember correctly, the halftime score was 20-15. And we just scored 12 points in the last few seconds of the game, essentially. So, to your point, I would say 38 of the 40 minutes of that half on the goal line, and Davenport just pushing them back, refusing to yield. As we joked, definitely the D in Davenport stands for defense, and that's what they brought today.
We are getting ready to go down to Jeremy, who has an interview on the sideline. And we are down there now.
Hi, I'm pitch side here after a fantastic game. I'm with Coach Don Bailey, fly-half captain Joshua Botha. Let me start with you, Joshua, since you just gave it all for 80 minutes. Tell us about that match.
Yeah, so quite an exhausting one. I'm quite tired right now. I think our 15 Tango and Ngidlala kept us in the game. But yeah, shout out to STU, one hell of a game. They've started the program recently and they're just growing. So yeah, but it was a nice way to almost finish our season, one more left, but a good game.
Yeah, well, we had some fantastic matches today, but tell me was your heart in your mouth when they had that conversion at the end there?
To be honest, the ref had told me that we were playing the game clock over there and there was 0 minutes left, so we all just tried to chase down the kick. Luckily, he missed the kick and we were able to go again and score. So yeah, I was scared, but I knew we could get it done once we had the kick off again.
And last question for you, what do you think you need to do to improve and clean things up for Sunday morning?
I think we had moments of brilliance here. I think we just need to trust the system, stay composed, not try to do too much, and then we'll be good.
Yeah, well, many congratulations. Coach, over to you. How are you feeling?
I'm happy now. I was stressed before, but I'm good now.
Okay, what's your reflection on how your team played and what you'd like to clean up for Sunday?
My team played very, very well today. There's some moments that we struggled a bit defensively, but we talked about it in the locker room. We made those adjustments coming in the second half, which was great. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Oh, Sunday, sorry.
So quick recap for us on the season. What's your assessment and what do you think you have to do differently Sunday morning to win the Challenger Cup?
It's a tough one. I can't give out my trade secrets, but talk to the guys, give us some clear pictures, exactly what we're wanting, break down the film from today, and analyze some of those pictures for them to see. But it's mainly just our defensive sets that we just need to fix. Offense, we're there, like Josh Botha said. It's not doing too much, and to stay in our structure and our game plan.
Well, it was a very impressive performance by both of you, by your whole team. Congratulations. I look forward to seeing you play on Sunday morning. And on behalf of CRAA, thank you. Appreciate it. I will turn it back up to you in the booth. Thank you for your time.
What a game. And Davenport moves on to the final on Sunday, and we're going to find out who they play in the next match where Santa Clara takes on Utah. We want to thank everybody who makes this possible, this broadcast possible. Steel Dynamics is the title sponsor of the 2026 CRAA National Championship Series. Steel Dynamics, the new frontier of growth. Today's match is also brought to you by 8x8 Sports, the presenting sponsor and official apparel partner of the College Rugby Association of America. 8x8 Sports, we move you forward. Looking to take your rugby team overseas? With Irish Rugby Tours, travel to Ireland, the UK, and Europe for international matches, pro-level training, and unforgettable memories. Start your journey now at irishrugbytours.com. Gainline is the official sports management partner of the College Rugby Association of America. Gainline, a testament to the power of leadership, innovation, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. USA Rugby is proud to partner with the College Rugby Association of America for the 2025-2026 academic year. With future USA Eagles taking the pitch today, USA Rugby is pleased to support this experience for all student athletes. Learn more about the USA Eagles and how you can get involved with USA Rugby. And today's broadcast was granted by the College Rugby Association of America. Any use or rebroadcast requires the written consent of the CRAA. For my partner, Tim Brofman, Tim, thank you so much, and our entire production team, I'm Alex Goff. Thank you so much for watching.